What is the creepiest glitch in the Matrix you've experienced?
I mentioned this in another thread, but here it is again. Me and my friend were at a Chinese restaurant, and we ordered a General Tso chicken dinner and a shrimp lo mein dish. When we sat down, we took out both boxes and set them on the table about 2 feet apart. My friend opens the first box and we see a shrimp lo mein dish. It has all the things in there: noodles, shrimp, fried rice. He closes the box and opens the other box. Inside that box is another shrimp lo mein dish. Shrimp, noodles, fried rice. Oh, I think they must have mixed the order. I was just about to say this when my friend says out loud, "Looks like they made a mistake and gave us 2. He opens up the first box again. Inside of it is a General Tso chicken dinner order. General Tso chicken, white rice, and an egg roll. Froze and looked at me. I looked back at him, and we sat in silence. It took us 5 or so minutes to collect ourselves. I have no idea what the fuck happened.
Good customer service. That's what I'm saying.
Repeat business. Not creepy, but so vivid and distinct that I still think about it years later. I had a subjectively long involved dream where I was a vendor in a fish market. I remember getting up early, dressing, doing a whole morning routine, going to get tea, heading out to the docks, buying fish, loading them in a cart and going to get ice, then haggling for ice, buying some less fresh fish while I was at it, then going to a market to my stall, setting up and selling fish all day. It was so real. I talked to friends, smoked nasty cigarettes, haggled customers, ate lunch, had tea, and just lived through the day. At the end of the day, I cleaned up, counted my cash, paid the stall rent, went home, cooked some of the fish I hadn't sold, sling with some veggies and rice that I'd traded for. I drank more tea, relaxed for a while, then drew a hot bath, soaked, and smoked some more cigs, then went to bed. The next morning, I woke up refreshed, ready to go down to the docks to buy fresh catch. Except I was in my house, next to my wife, truck parked outside, and it was Saturday, no work. My wife and I were getting geared up to go skiing in Oregon, and the car was already packed. Weird thing was, in the dream, I was single, and a smoker. I'm not. And the whole long dream had been in fluent Chinese, the effortless kind of fluency that only comes from a lifetime of speaking it. Oh, and I had been Chinese. I'm a big, hairy white dude, somewhat fluent in Spanish, and I know a little bit of Russian, but it was just weird. I've never worked in a fish market. I wonder who I was. I wonder what that was. Meanwhile, in China, a Chinese fish vendor woke up after having a dream about him being a big, hairy white dude with a wife in a truck. I've experienced déjà vu a couple of times when I was younger, and while that is certainly freaky, nothing beats its opposite, jamais vu, which I experienced twice during a period of work-related stress a few years ago. On both occasions, I was driving in my car, in perfectly familiar surroundings near my home, when suddenly, I had no idea where I was or where I was going. It was like being instantly teleported to a foreign country. It only lasted seconds, but very creepy nonetheless. Until it happened to me, I had no idea that this even existed. Edit. For those of you concerned about my health, yes, I did see a doctor, and so should you, if something like this happens to you more than once or lasts longer than a few seconds. My episodes were stress-induced, but more serious conditions can also cause this symptom. My dad has epilepsy and says that he'll experience this when he doesn't take his meds. Sort of like a fugue state. He went to Aspen on a business trip to design a ski lodge, and he forgot his meds at home. He was supposed to do a big presentation, but he never showed up. His coworkers looked for him for hours, until they finally found him, walking down the highway in the snow, 8 miles from their hotel. Apparently, he had completely forgot who he was, where he was, and why he was there. He figured if he just started walking, he could piece things together and figure things out. He snapped out of it when he saw the familiar faces of his coworkers. Oh boy, You guys would love where I work. Weird things happen here all the time, but I'll just talk about one of the creepiest moments I've experienced here. I work as a security/nighttime attendant at an apartment building. It's 24 stories and one of the oldest buildings in the city. One night, I'm sitting here when the phone rings at about 3 a.m. and I answer. "Hello, this is Draven at the front desk. How can I help you?" The voice on the other end sounded female but was totally garbled, and the only bit I could make out was 23rd floor. I tried to tell the person I couldn't understand them and asked what apartment they were in, but again, garbled response and 23rd floor. After the third time of trying to understand them in the same response, I said, since I couldn't understand them, I'd come up and to meet me in the hallway. So I go to the main elevators, and both are up on the surprise 23rd floor. Luckily, we have an older service elevator, and it's only on the 7th floor, so I call it down. I get it and hit the button for the 23rd floor, but it won't move, and the inner door won't close, so I go to unlock the reset panel, and boom, we start going up. Door still open. I'm freaking out, and the elevator is shaking because it goes pretty fast and is old. As I'm going up, I just stay towards the back, and finally I reach floor 23. I step out, door closes just fine, and I look around the hallway. There's nobody around. I walk along slowly, trying to listen for anyone awake who might have called, but there's nothing. So now I head the opposite direction and go towards where the regular elevators are. And when I get to them, they are just sitting there with their doors open. I was pretty freaked out, but I knew it could just be the elevators on the fritz, so I get in and figure I'll just reset them when I get to floor 1, when I hear the sound of the back stairwell closing. So I quickly get out and go to the stairwell, and lo and behold, no one's there. But the maintenance door to the machine room is ajar, and at that time I'm the only one in the building with a key. At the top of the building is a large machine room housing all the really, really loud machinery that does stuff in the building and allows access to the roof. I don't like going into it because it's creepy as fuck and no one ever goes there. So at this point, I'm seriously freaked out, but I muster up and head in. I shout hello, and there's no response. The lights in this room flicker because they're shitty fluorescent, so I can't see well either. But at the end of the room, I can make out the roof access door, and sure as shit, it's slightly open. So I slowly continue forward, checking the space in between each machine as I walk by, and there's no one there, so I open the roof access door. I can't see anyone ahead of me on the roof, but there is a slight wraparound, and if there was a jumper or something, I needed to be sure. So I step out and leave the door ajar like it was. Almost immediately, the door is pulled shut. Now I might have written it off as wind or something, but this door is hard to shut and hard to open. Really hard. I immediately grab the handle and hank it open, slam it behind me, and run straight for the maintenance door. It automatically locks when it's closed, so I slam it shut too and go back to the 23rd floor hallway, get into an elevator, doors still open, and go all the way down to the first floor. I go back to the main lobby, and as soon as I sit down, the phone rings. I pick it up, don't say a word, and sure as hell, garbled voice again, only audibly saying, 23rd floor. I hung up the phone, turned the ringer off, and spent the rest of the evening just staring at the parking garage security monitor. There's been a bunch of creepy things happen at this building. It's basically like the Overlook Hotel at night. I walked past a dark room here on the first floor once, and swore I saw myself standing inside it. The next night, as I'm inside said room cleaning, the lights flip off, and I turn around to see a quick flash of myself walking past. TLDR, creepy ghost or some shit. Played games with me at work by trying to lure me onto the roof of the building. I could not cope with that. I think I'd just vomit everywhere and quit. And then quit again just to be safe. That being said, would love to hear more of your stories.
Thank you so much for watching until the end. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next videos. In the meantime, check out the other ones. They're already waiting for you. Share your thoughts on this topic in the comments and tell your own stories. Wishing you a great day, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.